There's a question that comes up time and time again on climbing forums. One of them is, Jeremy, why do you look like you work down at the docks on a fishing boat? The answer to that is it's winter in Canada. And the other thing is, I want to have a hangboard in my house, but the landlord won't let me drill into anything. So with that, let's talk about Blank Slate climbing. Let's talk about their new product that's out. So let's roll the tiles and let's go. So if you've seen us do a hangboard review in the last 10 years, it's always been placed upon a thing that's above a doorway, which is the Blank Slate. There's one down here. I've had a number of different versions of it. I've been lucky enough to have and be able to do a lot of different hangboard reviews, and every single time the board always got mounted to a Blank Slate, which is this thing down here. And I'll have to put some pictures up because it is quite hard, and I'll put some video up of actually what it is. What it is a board that actually hooks up over the door with a bar across it, and that's what we've known the Blank Slate to be for years and years. Now they've released the Apex version of the board, and it's different, and it's better, and it's much kinder to your door frames than the original old Blank Slate. The original Blank Slate, and I'll pick it up, you'll have to, you'll hear some grunting because there's a Metolius 3D simulator on it. The big wooden piece sits across the back of your door frame, and then it hooked on the front with, bonk, a bar. Sorry, it's got a really heavy hangboard on it, it's not exactly light. And basically, put that somewhere else, it's heavy. Excuse me. And basically with the bar across the front and then the piece of wood up on the back of the door frame, you could have a board that you can mount from flat to a number of different angles that you could actually put a hangboard on, put climbing holds on, and actually train. And there used to be little plastic stoppers that go behind the bar to stop the door frame from getting dented, but over time, when you're hanging on the board and it talks, there was always still a little bit of an indent in the door frame, which was a horrible shame, and it sucked because, you know, if you're paying a damage deposit on an apartment, you really don't want that. Now, thankfully, they solved that problem. So let's look at and this is actually really easy to manhandle and show to you. This is the new version of the Blank Slate. You can see that I've got a couple of similar pinches on it, and it's changed. The mechanism has changed. When you put it up on the door, this little wooden block, and there's pads that come with the board that actually stop it from denting the door frame, sits up on top of the back of your door frame. There's a picture here, and this guy, this big, wide, lovely carpeted guy, sits on the front. So what happens is the force of actually, when you're pulling on the board, is actually dissipated across the entire width of the door frame rather than a very small, I think it was an inch and a half by maybe half-inch plastic block where the bar was. So what Blank Slate have done is they've actually fixed the problem. And with the old Blank Slates, the problem you had is you had to always remove the door from the door frame on one side, because where the bar sat, basically you couldn't close the door anymore, and you still can't close the door, but you had to remove the door. In some circumstances you had to remove the door because where the bar was across the top and then the wooden bar was across the top, and where the metal bar was across the front, if you want to put it on one side and the door was there, so you had, you know, your door frame and the doors here, you had to remove the door to allow the fit. And not everyone wants to do that. If it's in your bedroom, you have housemates, you know, you don't want to be don't want to be like, you know, taking your door off and then like hanging a curtain or something. You know, you want a door. So that was always a problem. For me, it was never a problem. I've always had a climbing wall in the house, and there's always places, you know, we used to have it in the kitchen doorway all of the time. It was never a problem for me because I could just put it where I wanted. Now, with this guy, and significantly lighter, I have to admit, and this is the this is one of their slim versions, and it's got a couple of pins on it. This I can hang up on my door frame super easy, and it's really quite fun and easy to use. So let me do a couple of quick demonstration videos, and we'll get back to talking about this in a slightly more comfortable surrounding. When I sit down and talk, it's better. So welcome to my bedroom, looking out onto the corridor of my apartment. Standard door, nothing too spectacular there. I'm going to put the old original Blank Slate up on the doorway. Now it is heavy, and it does have a Metolius 3D simulator on it and some other stuff. So let me just go and put this up on the doorway quickly so you can see how it fits. There will probably be some grunting. Normally it's better to do this with two people. Now, to be honest, it's actually not that hard. When you don't have a board on the Blank Slate, it's not too hard. But you can see the bar here that stretches across the door frame, and normally there's two little plastic stoppers here to stop it denting the door frame. If I take a photograph, which I will do in a second, of where this actually sits, and this is actually square, but what it does is, check this on there, this does actually make a really quite solid anchor, and it's perfectly fine. You know, there's probably a £15 resin hangboard hanging on that, and this is an old wooden door frame from a house that was built in 1940. But if you come around and you look at the other side, which I'll do with my phone, you'll see that the bar comes all the way across out to here, across the front, to stabilise it, and it's a real pain to get up and down. My girlfriend's like, we have guests, we have to shut the door, I have to take this thing down and then move in. It's super heavy and it's super painful, and don't get me wrong, there's one of these actually mounted in my kitchen, but it's there permanently. There was never a door on my kitchen, and I don't care, it's there and it's good. This sits here when we don't have guests, but what you'll notice is, you know, with both of these things you can't actually close the door, but it's quite big. It's taking the load across the door frame, and it's putting the front load when you're pulling into two really small points, just where the bar goes. And if you actually, I'll show you the inside of the bar's a bit ragged and knackered where it had foam ends on it, and now it's just worn out from it moves around. Because these boards, when you do get on them and you do hang, they will actually bend, and they will actually go a little bit, like they will actually move a little bit. They're very secure, and it's very well engineered. They don't move around. Once you've got it all cinched up and it's done to your door frame, it's perfect. But it's a real pain in the ass to get up, and it's a real pain in the ass to get off. So let's just remove this and put up the other one. If I don't kill myself taking this down. The new Blank Slate's better. Now, everyone's going to say, Jeremy, yeah, of course this is easier to put up and down because it's got a small board on it. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. It does have the smaller board on it, but I also have the larger board as well. Now, what you can see here from this side of the door frame, and again, it's not square. I should square these things up, bump, bump, is the same thing. The brackets are shorter, the big U brackets that go up underneath are shorter. The wooden blocks at the top, I haven't put the foam on them to protect the door frame because I'm not worried. sit there quite perfectly, and it weighs, I think it weighs 11 pounds, this one. If you use the bigger board, which is the same as the one I just took down, the big piece of wood, I think it weighs 16 pounds. But again, this thing is absolutely bomb-proof. Like, it's really good, and it's super easy to get on and off the door. Now, just to show you the other side, I've not done this. I can put this on this side of the door as well if I want, because rather than having a bar across to actually stop the leverage, this thing, when I take it down, problems of being short. There you go, ignore me, I was thinking it wasn't going to work. My hinges, like, this has about a quarter of an inch clearance between where these big metal brackets are and where the hinges. But you can put it on both sides of the door frame. The other one, I couldn't do that because of the bar. There's no way it would have happened, and this is a revolution. They also do one that has a board on either side. But this is an absolute revolution. This thing, like even now, is absolutely bomb-proof. Both sides of the door, completely perfect. Now, of course, you're going to say, hey, this board isn't the same as the other board. No, it is the same. This is just the slim version. I'll go and sit down and I'll talk to you about this board and its stuff. Oh. Really warm head. Wow. Yep. I'll sit down and I'll talk about the features of this, the slim version, and then the other larger version for you. But this is the Apex from Blank Slate. It's much better than the original Blank Slate by about 1,000%, mainly because I can put it on either side of the door frame, and I just proved, even with my silly logic, I just proved you can go on either side of the door frame, and with these nice new big paddles here, it really takes the stress off the door frame. I've been using this for a couple of weeks, and with the old one, the bar and the little plastic tabs, when you're hanging on it and moving, you can see there's a slight dent that comes over time. It does take time, but you can see it's actually putting a slight mark on the wooden door frames. And plastic door frames will probably just bend and compress, which won't be very nice, and your landlord will get pissed. So this is really nice because it really puts out the load. And if you put the foam on the blocks that comes with them, it really protects the top of the door frame as well. So it actually works really well. It's very well engineered and it's very well thought out, and it's such a leap ahead, It's such an improvement upon the old one. I'm really quite impressed. Let's go back to the office and I'll talk to you about the other version of this. World camera angles. So I have two versions of this. They're both called the Apex. This one is the S2W. It retails for $109. Which, when you think about it, is really quite cheap, considering all the metal work and stuff that comes with it. It's really good value. And then I had the L2W, which is this one over here, and I'll talk about that in a second. So with the with this guy, which is the S2, when you get this, you're going to get some printed instructions, which are actually really quite good for the L2 and S2 units. They're actually really quite good, thorough, printed units, and you can go through and it tells you, how to do it, blah blah blah. It shows you, like I said, it comes with the carpet for the blocks, but I never put the carpet on for the blocks for the back of it. I didn't do that. But what you have on these boards is you have adjustments, and when you go through, I have to find the correct angle. What you have is with these guys, there's 4 adjustments, and these need to get tightened up. I've left them a little bit loose. There's 4 adjustments, there's 4 holes here, so you can actually vary the angle of the board quite well. So what you do is you set it up. I set mine up for just being flat for the time being, but if I want to overhang it, I can overhang it 2 points, or actually at some point I can actually probably maybe get it a little bit in, but vertical is the way you want to go, and then you can overhang it 2 things. All you have to do is undo this bolt here, take it out, take the T-nut out from the back, put it into the other hole and just go through. You might have to adjust the back to find the perfect fit, but it's a little bit of tinkering. It's got T-nuts that are hammered in, which is really nice. So if you don't have a handboard, you could just quite simply put holes on it like I have. I've only got a couple on here right now, but normally this has got holes all over it. I play around, and you know, it's a really good training apparatus for what you want to do. Now the beautiful thing is you can actually just go from this, which is the S2, $109, weighs 11 pounds, which isn't too bad. You can actually go to the L2, and the L2, let me scoop, is basically the same board. Well, actually, it's actually a different board to what I had on the original Blank Slate. It's a little bit wider, and it's got 25 T-nuts, I think, in it. So it's a little bit wider, but what you'll notice is if you look at the drill pattern, you'll notice here there's a T-nut here and a T-nut here, but there's 4 drill holes on this side with nothing. Aha! So what you can do, if you're a short ass like me, is the 4 T-nuts here that link to the metal frame also link to that board as well. So what I can do is actually chop these out really quickly and put that board onto this frame and actually have it so I actually have a bigger area for more holds, or a bigger hangboard like you saw my other Blank Slate. It's got the old Metolius 3D simulator on it, and it's also got a rung that I CNC'd myself with an edge and a big jump on it. You can switch the boards. So because I'm a short ass, I'm only 5'7" and door frames are quite high, this I find a little bit too high for me. So in that case you want to go for the other version, and what you want to do is get it, because you can actually drop it down a couple of notches and actually make it so you can walk under the door without smashing your head, but you can also do it so it's easy for you to grab and pull without actually having to get up on tippy toes or stand on a stool or a box or anything, and you can actually do it that way. So I like both the products. I do. I've been a big fan of Blank Slate for a number of years. The first time we did a review with a hangboard was, yep, that's a long time ago. These guys have been around for a long time, and they've been putting out quality products for a long time. The Blank Slate that I've been using, the old one, which is now going to get retired, it'll probably stay over the kitchen door so I can hang around on a different door frame while I'm cooking. It's got to be at least 5 years old, and it's not caused that much damage to my door frames, but they don't make it anymore. They make this version with the nice big paddles that sit flush on your door frame and really disperse the weight really well. Like, you know, think about your weight plus your pulling force. It's putting a lot of force onto the front of the door frame and the top of the door frame. And I've been using this for a month and I've had no problems whatsoever. There's no dinks in my door frame, even without putting on the little carpet blocks, because I was adjusting things. It's still not caused any problems to my door frame. The bigger version, this guy, when you buy it with the frame, when you get this guy with the frame, it's $149.99. I believe this version is normally $119, but currently it's on sale for $109. But this is $149, and it weighs, by the time you put it all together, it weighs 16 pounds, so it doesn't actually weigh that much. Now this, I feel, is a much better option for most people. You have more T-nuts, you have more space, you can monkey around a little bit. You can almost set it up as a campus board or as a system board or whatever you want to do, you know, so you can sit and you can train your weaknesses. And that's the reason why I have hangboards and climbing holds in the house, is because then I can train what I want to train on when I get home late from work and I don't want to go to the gym and it's the middle of winter and it's snowing. I can just come, stretch, warm up, very important, kids. Stretch, warm up, and just get a really good burn. You know, these things are quality. All the edges are rounded. You know, like I'm not getting splinters from doing this. All of it's rounded. It's all really well drilled. All the T-nuts are nice and flat and hammered in perfectly, which is actually one. You know, they could go with screw-on T-nuts or screw-in T-nuts if they really wanted. But it's so easy to switch a T-nut if you shank it and you destroy the thread on the T-nut, that this is a really good application for just hammering T-nuts. The wood's really strong. It's at least 9 ply. It's 9 ply, if not more ply, if not thicker, maybe 12 ply. Hang on, I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it's 12 ply plywood, so you're not getting cheap plywood, so it's not going to bend. It's going to take the forces that you need it to take. So it's 12 ply plywood. It's beautifully sanded on the front. It's beautifully sanded on the back. There's no like dinks or burrs out of it on either board. You know, it takes a little bit of time to set it up to your particular door frame and your particular needs with the angle and just playing around for a little bit. But it only takes, you know, I've done this before a number of times with blank slates, because I've had a number of different blank slates. It probably only takes around 15 minutes. You're looking at maybe 15 to 45 minutes of just putting it up, playing with it, putting it on the door frame, getting it down and getting it up and going. But that's it. It's really simple. It doesn't damage your door frame. So you know, the two questions at the start of this video is, Jeremy, why do you look like an extra from The Life Aquatic 2? Well, one, it's winter and I grow a beard and I wear silly hats because it's cold outside. And the other thing is, how can I have a hangboard and train in my apartment when my landlord won't let me drill holes in anything? The simple answer to that is this. You go buy yourself a Blank Slate Apex. As usual, links to Blank Slate and the product we're actually looking at and talking about is in the description below this video. Please go visit them, go look. There's lots of different options. Go look at the Mega, the one that goes on both sides of a door frame. So you can have a board on either side or holes on either side, and you can just monkey around back and forth, which is really quite nice. We're not going to look at that because I got 2 blank slates. I can just do whatever I want, or I'll go to the climbing gym. But the Mega's a really good option as well. You know, this is the S2, and then there's the L2. So there's the Slim, which is S, which is what I think it stands for, and there's the L, which is the large, and they're both the wide versions. They're good, and it's actually not that much money. And Christmas is coming up, or your birthday, or Easter, or Hanukkah, or whichever, you know, religion you are, or whatever you believe in. It's coming soon. Your parents are going, oh, what should I get him for Christmas? Ask for a blank slate. Ask for a new version of the blank slate. Even people with the old blank slate should get the new blank slate, because it does way less damage to your door frames and it's actually much better. And it's a little bit lighter than the old versions, that's for sure. So look, please subscribe. If you know, a subscription for us is a hug. It shows that you like our content. So please subscribe. There's a link here for you to subscribe to our channel. We've got some really interesting stuff coming. There's some more stuff coming, maybe late this year, maybe early next year on the Blank Slate, which is a bit of a secret. It was on this board before. It's just over there. There's something there that I'm very excited about, but I can't talk about it. But that's coming really soon. I just bought 2 pairs of Soil climbing shoes. We'll be reviewing those, and behind me, over here somewhere, is some liquid chalk. So we're not out of the climbing game, we're still in the climbing game, we're still doing climbing products, and we are going to do some climbing holds very soon as well. So please subscribe, stay beautiful, and we'll see you again soon. Peace.